Um, my name is Angela Clock. I'm talking about my claim is drinking milk is an ineffective approach to getting healthy bones. As mammals, we are expected to drink milk, but that's only in infancy. There are three main points to my speech. The first one is that milk is not an available option of nutrients for everyone. The second one is that there are alternative sources to nutrients that are better than milk for anyone who has matured out of infancy, and that drinking milk alone is not sufficient to produce healthy bones. For the first point, almost 65% of the human population worldwide is lactose intolerant. So this can vary in intensity. Some people, lactose intolerance is the inability to break down lactose due to a decreased production of the enzyme called lactase. Lactose intolerance can have simple symptoms such as nausea, or can be as extreme as abdominal pain and diarrhea. Some people have milk allergies, which can be very dangerous and can result in death. And a lot of people, it's hard to have casein sensitivity, which is harder to find a statistic on based on the fact that many people don't even realize that they have it. Casein is a protein found in milk that can trigger inflammation throughout the body and has common effects such as sinus congestion, rashes, migraines, and can result in acne. Alternative sources for nutrients, so you don't have to worry about dealing with milk, include mainly vegetables and fish. The main protein or nutrients in milk required involved in bone health are potassium, vitamin D, and calcium. Potassium helps preserve bone mineral density, and the Office of Health Promotion and Disease Prevention has created multiple lists, tables, where they list the different sources of potassium and vitamin D in order of how much potassium and vitamin D that these food items offer. For potassium, a medium-sized baked potato offers twice as much potassium as a cup of non-fat milk. With potassium with the baked potato providing 941 milligrams of potassium and milk providing 282 milligrams. There are also a large number of fruits, vegetables in various states of preparation, and fish and beans listed in between as well. Vitamin D is required for absorbing calcium. 3 ounces of canned salmon offers 4 to 5 times the amount of vitamin D that a cup of milk provides, depending on the type of salmon consumed. And the milk only has vitamin D because the companies providing it fortify it. They add vitamin D to it. Calcium is necessary for just the building of bones, and it's like one of the building blocks. And 3 ounces of canned sardine has 325 milligrams of calcium, making it about 867 milligrams per cup, whereas a non-fat milk, 1 cup of non-fat milk has about 300 milligrams of calcium. In order to ensure healthy bones, the National Osteoporosis Foundation indicates that there are 3 things you have to do. You need to exercise, you need to decrease your sodium intake, and you need to avoid drinking things like caffeine and alcohol. And in conclusion, milk is not enough to get healthy bones because just the nutrients isn't enough, and you can get the nutrients from other places as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a pretty good start with a clearly identified proposition. The contents are partially previewed. I didn't think that you were very consistent on numbering those points when you got to them in the body of the speech. So you've set up a structure for us, but as the presentation develops after the first point, I'm listening for those secondary points, and information does come up, but it's not very clear that you've moved past the first point when you get to that second point, and I'm never sure when the third point becomes a distinct argument in the body of the speech. So that's a little bit of a problem organizationally. There's some factual data that is cited that I don't think there's probably going to be a lot of controversy over, but I do think you probably want to give us a source on those things, and that includes the information about all of the problems concerning lactose intolerance. You had a statistic on that, but there's no source for that. You had information about nausea and diarrhea and milk allergies, but there's no source citation on that. There's a whole explanation about casein and what some of the potential impacts could be, but none of that is being cited either, so I think that's a little bit problematic. We did get some citation on the potassium issue. So if a shortage of potassium is a problem, you've got this addressed pretty well in your argument. That was the one place that I thought you did a very good job presenting information consistently and giving us source citations on it. You had some comparative data that's included in there. You did give us another source citation on the vitamin D issue, and then there's some other information that's presented where there is no source. So it's a little bit inconsistent on the second and third points. The first point, there's almost nothing. The second point, there's a lot more. And the third point, it goes back and forth. Sometimes I think there are things that needed to be cited a little bit more. The factual data about how much calcium is in a can of sardines or in the can of salmon, that's okay. And when you're contrasting it to the milk products, that's all right also. I think that's pretty basic stuff. then the last source citation that you have really is talking about something other than milk. It's just talking about things that people need to do to make sure that they're covered and protected. I'm not exactly sure that it suggests that milk could be replaced as a source of these sorts of things if you just exercise, decrease your sodium, and limit your caffeine intake. So the generalizations, I think, are a little bit weak, except for maybe the potassium argument. The presentation, you seem a little anxious, and it's a little tough sometimes looking up at the audience. I understand that. That'll be something that a little practice will help you with. All right, thank you.